Alright, the entire MCU in under 6 minutes. Let's do this thing. Iron Man. It all starts with Tony Stark.
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Weapons dealer who is kind of a jerk. He gets kidnapped by terrorists, but he escapes by inventing the Iron Man armor and returns home to not only be less of a jerk, but announce himself as the world's first superhero.
I am Iron Man.
Also, there's Nick Fury.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
The Incredible Hulk. Bruce Banner has a condition where if he gets too mad, he turns into an uncontrollable giant green rage monster, and it makes him a major target for the military. Thankfully, he defeats evil rage monster the Abomination and saves Harlem. Bam. Iron Man 2, Tony Stark is back, but now he's a little less of a jerk and he gave his company over to his brilliant romantic partner Pepper Potts. He meets Black Widow. His best friend James Brody Rhodes steals one of his suits to become War Machine, and Tony basically hits rock bottom. But then he solves a ridiculously cryptic puzzle from his dad, synthesizes vibranium to power his suit, and teams up with War Machine to once again save the day. Thor, the god of thunder, comes in swinging his mighty hammer. After a poorly planned invasion, his father Odin takes his powers away and banishes him from his home of Asgard. He learns some humility on Earth and finds love in astrophysicist Jane Foster. His bro Loki finds out he's adopted and loses it. Thor gets his powers back and stops him. Oh yeah, and Hawkeye was there. Captain America, the first Avenger, takes us back to the 1940s. Weakling Steve Rogers is too pathetic to fight in World War II, but he's got a heart of gold, so the top secret super soldier serum transforms Rogers into the legendary soldier Captain America. They fight Hydra, the Nazi deep science division. Red Skull wants to bomb every major capital, and the Cap stops him by sacrificing himself, but geez, it turns out he ain't dead, he's frozen. Stay tuned. Oh, and that blue box Red Skull is holding is the Tesseract, aka the Space Stone, Infinity Stone #1, and it's going to be important. The Avengers, the MCU's 7 greatest heroes together on the big screen for the first time. Loki, still all kinds of pissed at life, is after the Tesseract and wants to use it to take over Earth. He hypnotizes Hawkeye and opens a giant space portal over New York City.
He's my brother.
He killed 80 people in 2 days.
He's adopted.
Iron Man, Unfrozen Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye come together to stop a horrific alien invasion in New York and take Loki into custody. Unfortunately, it's also revealed that Earth has become the target of Thanos. Phase 2 kicks off with Iron Man 3. Yeah, he was like really popular. The dude has PTSD from all of the scary space shit. However, it allows Tony to take an introspective journey and understand who he really is. He takes down another baddie, decides the world is totes safe, and retires from being Iron Man. But you already know that's not really a thing. Thor: The Dark World. The God of Thunder faces the most boring MCU villain who wants to turn off the lights in the universe or something like that. Thor needs Jane Foster and Loki to stop him. It's the introduction of the Ether, Malekith's weapon of choice. Like the Tesseract, it's another one of the Infinity Stones called the Reality Stone, and it too is a really, really big deal, so they gave it to the collector for safekeeping.
1 down, 5 to go.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Steve is having a hard time adjusting to modern life. Baddie, the Winter Soldier, shows up, and it's Bucky Barnes, the Cap's brainwashed childhood bestie who he thought was dead, but with the assistance of new pal Falcon, he, Nick Fury, and Black Widow are able to stop Hydra. Guardians of the Galaxy. It's totes different and transported us across the universe. Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot. They are all outcasts and criminals, but find themselves in a position to do some good, taking orders from Thanos. Ronan and Nebula hunt down the Power Stone, but Star-Lord can touch it because his dad is an alien and we didn't know that. So these dudes saved the day. Avengers Age of Ultron. Tony is still trying to retire as Iron Man by building a protective shield around the world in the form of AI. It backfires and we have Ultron. The Avengers have reacquired Loki's mind control staff from the first Avengers and find the Mind Stone. Infinity Stone #4, if you're keeping track. Earth's mightiest heroes, along with new recruits Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver, come back together in time to save the planet. Tensions are high between everyone, and now Thanos grabs the Infinity Gauntlet to go collect all 6 Infinity Stones, which would be crazy powerful and really bad. Ant-Man. Scott Lang is a thief and he accidentally steals the Ant-Man suit, but it was kind of planned by Hank Pym and his daughter Hope Van Dyne. These two need him to don the suit so he can shrink and grow and talk to ants and defeat Yellow Jacket.
It's awesome.
Now Hope's gonna be a superhero too, cool. Captain America: Civil War. Because of all the recent superpowered destruction, the countries of the world come up with the Sokovia Accords and want all superpowered folk to register with the government. Iron Man, War Machine, Black Widow, and Vision all argue in favor of signing, but Captain America, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, and Hawkeye resist. The Winter Soldier is fingered as the terrorist that killed King T'Chaka of Wakanda. Newcomer Spider-Man and Black Panther are enlisted on Iron Man's side, while Ant-Man fights for the rebels. The whole thing is just an operation orchestrated by Helmut Zemo in an attempt to break up the team, which he does with the revelation that the Winter Soldier also killed Tony Stark's parents, but the Cap defends his friend who is now only slightly brainwashed. I know, that one's a lot to take in.
You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
Doctor Strange. Stephen Strange is a cocky New York surgeon, but his hands get all messed. He goes to Nepal to study the mystic arts with the Ancient One. He reclaims his life and begins protecting Earth with magic. He does battle with timeless being Dormammu, but he's able to win thanks to his usage of the Eye of Agamotto, aka the Time Stone. Bam! Infinity Stone #5. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, picking up with the team 2 months after their previous adventure. Peter Quill meets his father, Ego the Living Planet, and learns more about his innate powers. The Guardians discover Ego's plans to remake the universe in his own image, but with the help from the innocent Mantis and an amazing sacrifice by Yondu, the dude who kinda raised Star-Lord, they defeat him. Spider-Man Homecoming. Coming off of his Civil War intro, Peter Parker is back in Queens trying to prove that he has what it takes to be a full-fledged Avenger, all while balancing life as a typical teenager. The Vulture proves to be a proper opponent. There are a few screw-ups along the way, but Spider-Man finally is getting the recognition he craves from Tony Stark. Thor Ragnarok. Thor is doing what he can to try and prevent the prophesized destruction of Asgard, but does a pretty crappy job of it. He does successfully discover that Loki has been pretending to be Odin for years. His sister Hela destroys his hammer Mjolnir and traps Thor on a garbage planet where he surprisingly reunites with the Hulk. Who talks now?
Baby arm.
Fortunately, Thor is able to understand his natural power, and while he loses his eye in the process, he does successfully save Asgard's people as Asgard is destroyed. Or does he? Black Panther. T'Challa returns to his home of Wakanda after being anointed king following the death of his father in Civil War. But then his cousin is like, I'm king. So with the support of a bunch of badasses, including his sister/tech wizard Shuri, they defeat him. Ultimately, it's a conflict that forces the whole country to realize the flaws in their isolationist ways, and by the end, they are ready to share their insane resources and technology with the rest of the world. That brings us here, Avengers Infinity War. Thanos is still after all of those Infinity Stones we told you about, and he's coming to Earth. All right. I need a break, kids. Have fun at the movies.